Hi there, Mary Ayers from tappintoaction.com. Today we're going to do some tapping to build beliefs that we want. Today we're going to talk about being enough. You know, we always focus so much on how to move away from our negative beliefs, which is valuable, but we have to have a place to go. We need to start to build the scaffolding and the neuron networks that build up to where we want to be, what we want to believe about ourselves, what we want to believe about the world. And so, in order to do that, it's very deliberate work. It just doesn't come because we've gotten rid of an old belief, it comes because it's something that we really work on. We're very conscious about it. And then, from a consciousness, it moves into an unconscious competency, just a way of knowing ourselves. But most of us didn't get that program when we were growing up. And so, we are introducing a program, and we're introducing it into the way we want it to be as a habit. And a habit happens on our subconscious level, and so we have to do that work differently than reading books or watching TED Talks. And that's why we're going to do some tapping around it. The tapping is not about tapping it in. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, probably keep saying it, because we're not tapping anything in. What we're doing is we're keeping an open container, an availability for the new beliefs, and we're pairing it with a much more comfortable, relaxed feeling so that we can hold on to it. Now, the value for you is that if in the midst of doing this you find yourself really saying, that's not true for me, or that's not the way it is, or it brings up an old event, that becomes a tapping target for you, and that becomes a very valuable piece of information, because then you go back and you do that. Even though I had this experience, or even though I feel this way or believe this way, we do the work, both sides of it. We want to work on the side of building, and we want to work on the side of pruning back the old beliefs. So we want neurons to grow, and we want neurons to weaken so that we are not using those default programs the way we used to. Let's do some tapping to build our enough story, shall we? Everybody can do a little bit more, feel a little bit stronger in how enough they feel. So just follow me. If I move a little too fast for you, remember, just go through the points with me. Sometimes I get really excited about these, and then next thing you know, I'm not leaving enough room in between for you to say them. Listen to this a couple of times. You'll know what I'm saying, and you can even just think the thought, and I'll try to slow it down a little bit more. But just in case, just keep tapping with me, all right? So let's be at the karate chop, okay? Even though I've had this belief that I'm not enough, and I've thought that forever. So long, in fact, that I believed it was the truth. I'm considering accepting myself anyhow. Even though I grew up believing that I wasn't enough. That's what I learned. It's what I concluded. Perhaps I have believed that long enough. Even though I used to be so certain that I wasn't enough. And it still feels pretty true. I'm open to being curious about something different. All right? Now let's go through the points. I have this belief that I'm not enough. And I've been certain about it for a very long time. That I'm not adequate. And that it just is. It was a fact. The truth. Something not to be questioned. Yet, what if that was just me living in a past conclusion? And even though it's felt really true up till now, I wonder what it would be like to no longer carry that around. What then would I believe? Well, what do I want to feel? What would it be like to feel enough? to feel adequate. Heck, I don't know. I can't even imagine it. Because it certainly doesn't feel right. At least not yet. But what if I take it slow and try it on and breathe into it? Allow myself to play with it. Could I give myself permission to play in this thought? To wonder what it would feel like? To explore the possibilities of owning this new belief, of living this new belief. What if it was my truth? What if it was just the way it is? Like it's some part of me. And that some part of me was already starting to accept that it is true. So maybe I could imagine that part of me taking root. And my only job was to accept the idea of it. Maybe I could have just a little bit more acceptance. Because I don't have to accept it all just yet. Just this little beginning. And what if it turns out that I really like having a little bit of enoughness? And you know what? It likes me as well. I wonder if that's possible. I'm going to start out feeling just a little bit of enough. I'm building my program for enoughness. Because very soon I'm going to be stepping right into that program. I'm going to own it. That sense of feeling enough, where I am already, I'm working on it right now. I'm owning a little bit of it right now. Today, I have a little bit more enoughness. Take a breath. Feel it in your body. If you feel just a little bit more of that acceptance, maybe, a little bit of possibility. We're always looking for some space for possibility. That's the way a seed grows, right? You plant it in something and it's rich soil, and that plant may burst through and become something strong. We need to nurture that spot for the new idea. And this is a beginning. It's not the end. You can't just do this once and think about it and think that you've actually planted anything for good, for long range, to go all the way down into your deepest parts of you. This is something you do over and over again, so that when you say I'm enough, or I'm a little bit more enough, or it's possible for me to be enough, you can feel that growing. You can feel every part of your body feeling it more and more. I'm looking forward to continuing to tap with you. Let me know what's been working for you. Mary@tapintooaction.com. In the meantime, I hope you subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a lot more tapping.